Hi everyone, welcome back to the Created Vessels. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Grace if you're new. Today I wanted to talk about Surprise by Oxford. I wanted to share just three parts in this video, which is the book, the film, and my story with Oxford, and my journey and tips and tricks if you ever decide to go to Oxford. Surprise by Oxford, a spiritual memoir that follows Carolyn Weber, who was a skeptical, fiercely intelligent young woman who arrives at Oxford University as a literature scholar. She's chasing truth, meaning, success through the academic world, but unexpectedly encounters something greater: God. Through deep conversations, poetry, and the romantic backdrop of Oxford's cobblestone streets and cathedral towers, Carolyn slowly begins to confront her doubts, wounds, and longings. At the end of the story is a patient, kind man nicknamed TDH, tall, dark, handsome, whose friendship and questions gently open her up to the possibility of faith. So that's the main story of Surprise by Oxford. It is a story that intertwines faith and literature. And before you go, if it's something that weirds you out or something that I don't want to talk about it, I don't really care about faith or what it means for us. I think it's something that we're all curious about. We all question it. What is faith? What it means for us today? And it's just full that there is a story that interacts with two things that we care so much about, which is faith and story and literature. Literally, it's just shows you how powerful literature is in the world today, how words and story and the art of words actually can break the barriers for someone. From Shakespeare to C.S. Lewis, poetry leads her towards spiritual truth. A guy that she meets, like a classmate, that introduces her to this spiritual truth. One of the best examples of that is when he shares with her Surprise by Joy, which is a really well-known, closest thing to an autobiography by C.S. Lewis, who is the writer of Narnia, friends of J.R. Tolkien, the author of Lord of the Rings, the guys that met as the Inklings at Oxford with puns and coffee and tea. And so literature, it's part of the character of Oxford, of the character of the school. And Carolyn immersed herself into this place, thinking one thing and heading towards one thing and focusing on one thing. But then she realized there was more. And thanks to the community she had, because it wasn't just the classmate, of course, he was a big part of her faith journey, but also the faculty. You can see it on the film a little bit, like little drops here and there. There's a lot of beautiful characters that interact with her. But in the book, you can see it more clearly and more detailed how she interacted with different people that helped her. There's a lot to tackle here. There's definitely a million quotes that I can share with you when it comes to. There's a lot of gold in this book. Even right at the beginning, there is a introduction. There's an idea of how to take in this memoir. So this is on the chapter Doubt Wisely. I wanted to share a little bit of it. So it says, "Just who is your master? For we all have one. No individual, by the very state of existence, can avoid life as a form of servitude. It only remains for us to decide, deny, or remain oblivious to whom or what we serve." So regardless of whether you are interested in the book or the story of the plot or whatever, there's definitely truth regarding what it says, right? Like, regardless whether you are someone of faith or someone that believes in God or do not believe in God, there's something truth about we all having masters or serving something. You might not know what that is. You might know what it is. But I think it's just powerful that it's part of self-awareness to know what we serve, why we serve. You can either decide, deny, or remain oblivious to whom we serve. So I think that the book helps you with self-awareness, with going back to the priority. Because her priority was studies and academics and getting her doctorate. But then she realized, no, there's actually more to this. There's more to Oxford, to my life, to the end goal of life. It's not just this moment. There's actually more for me. This is on chapter Shaken, Not Just Steered. What is faith? How does one have faith? I could not have given any kind of answer to such questions. If God existed at all, he seemed perhaps interested at times. They're just barely. I love how open she is to asking questions. I love that this is not like a black and white thing at the moment. It's like, I'm okay with asking questions, and I love that TDH can't. It's open to the questions, and it's okay to ask questions. It's okay to wonder. One of my absolute favorite quotes in this entire book is almost at the very end of the book. Boxes and boxes of paradoxes. Open them all up, and therein glistens the gift of truth. It's just when she realizes that having faith is actually a paradox, right? It's very different to anything we know in this world. If you have any questions and you want to know more about this, I 100% recommend to get and read Surprise by Oxford. If you want to start with an introduction, maybe watch the film. Beautifully made. The director of the movie, I remember him saying, this is like a love song. This is like a love letter to Oxford. You'll see the architecture. You'll see the setting is just absolutely gorgeous. Getting to the cobblestones and getting to see just how beautiful the cathedrals and the schools and everything on the outskirts and the outsides of Oxford is just absolutely pleasing to the eye to see the film. So I recommend you to watch it. Why do I love this story so much? Well, I have my personal story with Oxford. In 2018, I had the opportunity to go to Oxford for an abroad opportunity, and I got to learn and be part of the tutorials and going through almost the same process as her. So watching the film felt like a flashback, like a very nostalgic for me. So I got to study creative writing and philosophy. She studied romantic literature, but I got to immerse myself with the best professors in the world and the best people in the world in academics, and getting to learn from them is actually a gift. So I make some notes here, tips for someone who would like to go to Oxford. If you ever interested in going to Oxford, if someone you know would like to go to Oxford, or this movie inspires you to go to Oxford. So number one, soak in the atmosphere slowly. So it's not every day that you get to have this opportunity. So take it all in. Take as much time as you need. Walk around. Take some space to learn and interact with the architecture, and read, and just sit in the gardens and just take it in. You deserve it. You took time to get there. Enjoy it. To let the libraries change you, whether it's the Bodleian Library or a quiet college reading room. Take time to realize that you're stepping into history. You're stepping into a place that not everyone can go in, actually. Only alumni, only students can go in. Not even the tourists. There's no way you can pay to go into the Radcliffe camera, actually. So if you get to go, take as much advantage as you want, and you can, because it is so worth it and so precious. So go ahead and do whatever you can to enjoy it. There are tutorials. So instead of the student and like 20 students in one classroom, it's more of like 5, 6, 7 students in like a living room style kind of thing with one professor, and you guys interact and ask deeper questions and work towards a book, and it's more of like a system. Don't feel like an imposter. It's normal to feel imposter syndrome when you're in one of the best cities, the best places to study in the world, but don't be afraid to ask questions. Okay, don't be afraid to challenge your thinking and be humble, curious. Don't be afraid to seem like you're not sure. Actually, asking the questions and wondering and just breaking critical thinking will actually make your teacher like hey, he's working hard, she's working hard. I can push him a little bit, I can push her a little bit. They're not looking for perfect people. They're looking for people that want to learn. So go ahead and do that. 4, find your teach spot. So whether that be a cafe or a bench or a college garden, embrace on the pace of grace. So find that place that you can like be quiet and like learn and interact with the world around you. Even C.S. Lewis did it. Even Tolkien did it. You know, even the most amazing writers in the world did it. Why can't you? So go ahead and try it out. 5, explore the spiritual questions. Oxford has a deep theological and philosophical history. It's where Lewis, Tolkien, and others ask big questions. Don't be afraid to explore yours. Attend each song at Christ Church or Magdalen College. Visit the C.S. Lewis Society or chapel service. Don't let the old stones remind you you're not the first to wrestle with God here. So don't be afraid to ask questions. Whatever it is, interact with it. I'm struggling, I'm wrestling with this, I don't understand it fully. Look at Carolyn, she's the perfect example. She was wrestling, she was looking, she was wondering, she had ups and downs. Make sure to have community and look into that. And next, talking about community. 6, talk with people who think differently. Oxford gathers the best minds from all over the world. Some are believers, some are skeptics, some are seekers. Make space for conversation that stretch you spiritually and intellectually. I generally believe that you're not going to grow at your full capacity if you only interact with people that believe the same thing as you do and think the same way as you do. When you ask for advice from a friend, right? Like you're asking for their wisdom, right? Because you don't know what to say. Imagine having someone that thinks the same exact thing as you. They won't know how to advise you, right? Not that has ever happened, but I hope you know what I mean. I just hope that, find people that think differently, that read different books, that write differently, that think differently, that observe life differently, and it will open up more opportunities for you, I believe, in life, critically, emotionally. 7, don't just study. Of course, you arrived and you came to Oxford all the way from another continent, sometimes another place, to study, right? That's really critical, very important to keep your studies ongoing. But also listen. Beauty tells us something much more than what we see. Like what does it mean that these gorgeous spaces are here? I feel like they're trying to tell us something. Number 8, pack light spiritually too. You don't have to arrive with all the answers. Bring your questions. Oxford is less about proving and more about becoming. Allow yourself to be immersed in something new. Oxford is something worth your time, if you decide to go. Yeah, this is thank you again for watching. Thank you for your time. I hope that the video speaks to you somehow, some way, whether you go all the way to Oxford or to decide to read the book or watch the film. I hope that it makes you ask the deeper questions in life, and that you learn something new. And thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video.